Hi everyone, this is Tuplex. Welcome back. Still got a bit of a cold, but I'm actually starting to feel better, but I think I actually sound worse. Anyway, hopefully it won't last too much longer. So I've been building out the red circuit area. You know, I've got the loading station set up, the stackers, and then on the input side, we're bringing in copper plate, plastic, and green circuits. We're going to convert the copper plate to copper cable, of course, as per the recipe. Now, at this stage of the game, according to the calculator, we need 74 machines making red circuits, which would be 9? What's 9 times 8? 74? Jeez. 72 divided by 8. Yeah, it's 9, exactly. And I think I will do 12. I think I'll do columns of 12 just because that way we'll have 2 machines making copper wire and then 12 machines making the red circuits. Since usually it's a 1:6 ratio between the copper wire and the red circuits. Also because I want extra red circuits being made to feed the mall. Speaking of that, I've been working on that a bit. I put down, I've torn up a lot of stuff over here. And I put down my mid-game mall. I have a blueprint circulating around somewhere. This is the mid-game mall. There's some of these machines don't have any recipes just because they were either for military stuff, which I don't need in this playthrough, or the recipes aren't available yet. So, you know, for example, blue belts we don't have yet, but it's there and ready to go. And then I added this section here to make rail and some engines for pumps, locomotives. This one comes over here too because I think the idea was to put batteries on the other side of that belt to make accumulators. I've got solar panels here too. I'm not going to make them now. Depending on, if we hit F5, we can see that Fluid Manager is using up a few ticks, right? At some point, I guess my worry is that when the base starts to get really big, that I might run into UPS problems because of nuclear power. And that's why most really big mega bases will use solar, because solar is really easy on the CPU. It basically treats all solar panels as one big solar panel and all accumulators as one big accumulator. So it's really easy for the game to calculate, you know, each tick or whatever. It's easy for the game to calculate what it's doing and what its current state is. Whereas with nuclear power, because you've got all these heat pipes and steam pipes and water coming in, the calculations are much more complicated. And that's why when things start to get big and you start running lots and lots of reactors, it can slow the game down considerably. So I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay on nuclear as long as I can. And I'm curious to see at what point it starts to become a problem, because for me, I've never really had a major UPS issue ever. But then again, the largest base that I made before was about 1,000 science per minute. So I'm going much bigger this time, obviously, and it could become a problem, but I think it'll be an educational experience for me to allow the problem to reveal itself, so at least I kind of understand what my thresholds are. And then I can understand how, at least with my current computer system, I'll know how how much time and attention I need to put towards UPS optimization. I know when Alexi built his base, he was, I mean, extremely focused on UPS optimization. But like I said, I've never really had any serious problem with it. So I'm kind of curious to see at what stage those problems start to appear and then figuring out the best ways to deal with them. I think it'll be a good learning experience for me. So, and hopefully for you too. All right. So, before I start routing all of the belts for plastic and copper and circuits, I want to do the build first. And I'm going to bring some power poles up aligned with these just so I can see visually what my ideal envelope would be to work within, right? Ideally, I'm going to get everything done within this width. Well, including the power poles, right? I can build where the power poles are as well. But let's just build a prototype here, and I'll use this instead of these power poles because that's a little annoying. Okay, I think you can probably hear me getting messages on Facebook. All right, shut that off. 5, 6. All right, so this is the basic setup for red circuits. 1 machine making copper wire, 6 making red circuits. In a case like this, what I would normally do is feed the copper there. Yeah, I would feed copper there. I would have this machine load the copper in and then put the copper wire on the outer belt. And then these machines pick up the copper wire. And then on the adjacent belt, we could have green circuits and plastic, which I think for this size build, 1 yellow belt will probably be enough. Let's check. Yeah, for these 6, we need 0.1 belt of plastic and 0.1 belt of green circuits. So even if we double that, it's still less than half a belt. So sharing a belt for those two is just fine. All right, and then, of course, in that case, we also need the red inserters to pick up from the far belt. All right. Let's see how we set up our power poles. Let's see, we do one here. Yeah, one at the beginning of each of those. And then simple yellow belts on the output. And checking our output as well. 0.1 yellow belt if we double this. So we can work completely on one side of the belts. And I'll put my power poles here. And we'll throw a light in that little extra space that we have. All right, and then this part will be repeated again at the top. Like so. And then we can trim those belts. I'll add a little extra on the end so it's easy for me to pick that up and copy it. Let me fix these because I don't like diagonal power lines. Yeah, and that's it. And I think I want to move this over by 1 tile. Or maybe 2 tiles. Let's see. let's bring this up a bit. And I think I'll plop the first one right there. Two, three. Wait a minute. Let's get this one built first. Okay, yeah, that's precisely within the amount of space that I have available. It didn't look like it was fitting for some reason. I need to trim my output. Okay, so let's hook up this first one and make sure everything works properly. Yeah, let's do it like this. Uh-oh. Okay, so we need another power pole in there. Now why? Oh, right. Yeah, we need it right there, actually. I guess I'll have to live with that diagonal. Oh, and I need another one up here. Okay. And then I think we can join, I think we can get these belts to join in a cleaner way than that. All right, but that, we want copper to go there. So let's see if we can make that happen. Right, that doesn't quite make it, so we have to jump across here. And then there. All right, and then the plastic will have to jump across here. And then let's see if I can think of a clever way to combine the belts here. No, I think this will be the easiest way to do it. Like that. Did I miscalculate something here? we need 4 copper cables every 6 seconds. This makes 4 copper cables per second. Times 6. It should be just fine. Let's try it with blue inserters. Maybe it's just not able to pick it up off the belt fast enough. Yeah, that looks better. Needs 2 more. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I guess we need blue inserters there. I mean, eventually this would back up a little bit, perhaps, and be able to pick up, but all right. So that looks good. So I'm going to cut this power just because I don't want to copy those power poles. And I'm going to copy this entire thing. Please excuse me. Okay, and then I need to go into that blueprint, and I need to clear out the rail so that it doesn't force me to move in increments of 2 tiles. Wait a minute, wait a minute. Why is that not working? I see why it's not working. Okay. Yeah, it's because I can only overlap one of the power poles for this to be tileable. And here I'm unlapping both, so this output wants to now share this belt on the next one. Okay. Yeah, so I will have to shift this over. Or I could just extend off the end over here. Yeah, I'll just do that. Alright, so let me just copy up to here. Okay, minus the rail. Okay. And then I'll copy like from here on up. And that'll be the part that I duplicate. All right, so it's not going to be perfectly centered, but I think I don't need to be so concerned about making everything perfect at this stage because this is all rather temporary anyway, right? Once I have all the 6 initial science packs made, I'm going to start rebuilding everything to be using modules and beacons and blue belts and work at much higher speed. So I don't think I need to be terribly concerned about making things perfect right now. It just takes extra time that is probably not worth the investment. All right. Ooh, I'm out of belts. Okay, well that's actually good because then my bots will get everything else built faster. And then I can come back with the belts and I'm just going to lay the belts myself. I think it's Watching the bots deal with belts is kind of painful. All right, and while this is running, I'm actually going to pause for a minute because I'm getting kind of stuffed up. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Feel a little bit more clear at the moment. Am I out of factories? Yeah, I am. All right, let's... those gears. How many am I short? 12. I can't make 12. Okay, I'm going to need to go back to the base. So let's run back there and resupply. While we're traveling, I could show you that over here I've torn out the steam power, or most of it. I need to get another RoboPort over there. Let's see. There, I'll have the bots do that. I still do have coal and petroleum over here because, well, what do I need that for? Once I get red circuits going, oh, I still need batteries. Although I'm not actually using the batteries right now. I don't have to make robot frames really anymore. I'll be okay if I don't have more bots. So, yeah, maybe I can finish... Maybe I can finish tearing all this up. I do need a little solid fuel for the trades. So maybe I'll just buffer a bunch of solid fuel and then tear everything else up. Okay, let's get resupplied here. Oh, I want 100 of those. And we'll gradually get more belts too. It's taking longer now because now I have stuff over here and I have stuff over there. I should probably move my storage area like up here next to the train, really, since that's where I'm going to be standing. That's where I'm going to be when I arrive here. Okay. And I did upgrade all of this to red belt. Right, so the bus is all fed with red belted stuff now. All right. It's not building much because when it comes to yellow belts and things like that, I had a lot in storage already. I'll be really happy when we get logistics research done so I can load my train automatically. Yeah, for that we need yellow science. Fortunately, yellow science is the easy one to make. Okay, back over here. Yeah, the yellow science packs take blue circuits, robot frames, and low density structures. Well, maybe it's not easy. Low density structures need... Yeah, copper, steel, and plastic. Yeah, that's not too bad. And that's a rocket component as well, so I'll probably have a separate station making low density structures. All right. Well, while we're waiting for all this to happen, I'll start hooking things up. All right. So this copper. Yeah, it would be better if this copper went here. Or better yet, let's make it a little bit cleaner. Okay. Yeah, I don't have any extra bots. Oh well. All right, and then this one. I'll do the green first. Okay. Yeah, and actually this, I think we can do the same. Not quite the same. I think this part could probably be the same on each of these. All right, that looks good. So let's get the rest of this built. We'll turn it on and then start feeding belts up to the loading station. These power wires are a hideous mess. There's a mod called, I think it's called Power Comb or something like that, that supposedly will fix all of your power wires and make them nice and straight. I haven't tried it though. I was just reading about it the other day, but I might give that a try. Okay. Oh, missing one over here. Alright, everything else looks fine. I think it's all done. Let's bring the robots in, and then we'll power it on and see what happens. Okay. That alert is back at the main base. Alright, let's hook it up. I should probably install Bottleneck. I think that would help to visually see if everything is getting enough stuff. Alright, I'm going to let these back up for a minute because it'll be helpful to preload the line with copper wire. It takes a little while for everything to get started because when you first start up all these machines, they want to take in what they need for 2 cycles. And so at the beginning it can look like some of the machines are starved, but then once it runs for a while everything gets caught up and then you realize that you actually do have enough production. All right, so like I've done before, I'm gonna run these belts manually. I'll actually turn off my RoboPort. I'll leave a little gap. Okay, yeah, this is, it's pretty close to where it needs to be. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Do I go from the outside in or the inside out? I think I need to do it this way. Okay, that looks good. And I think I'm going to have to go back for more belts. I wonder if I can handcraft some. Well, not too many, but if it saves us a trip, it'll be worth it. Yeah, I'm not going to make it. All right, let's go back now. Get more belts, and then we'll come back and finish this up. And then I think before I do, well, until I get logistics chests, I think before I do the next episode, I'll just preload my train with tons and tons of rail and belts so that I don't have to make so many trips back. It's hard to guess how much I'm going to need, but I think it's pretty safe to say that I underestimate it most of the time. Alright, yeah, just give me all that. Okay, I think we'll be good now. Another thing, I decided that rather than making a separate depot for the plastic, I would just combine it with this one that's got the other petroleum products. Because I do have plenty of space in my depots. I mean, I want to avoid the depots getting too much congestion because they only have one way in and one way out, right? But I'm going to try to expand them a bit to reduce the number of grids that I'm using up just with depots. Because I'll run out of space pretty quick if I keep doing that. All right. Almost there. And then having red circuits, I'll also be able to bring red circuits back to the main base for the mall, or the starter base. And that should allow me to get rid of the coal mining and other stuff that I'm doing there. All right, we're ready to go. Okay, and we're making red circuits. Take a look at our power. Still not using much. I may have been premature on getting those extra reactors going. I should probably check over there and see how we're doing on fuel. Okay, we're starting... Ooh. Yeah, our uranium-238 storage is starting to get pretty full. I guess I've got like about another 8 chests available. We've got 361 uranium plus the 80 that I set aside for Covarex. 20 in the chest. Our circuit still seems to be working properly. It says we've got 20 on the belt. And visually that looks about right. 922 in that chest. I might want to go and add another chest for that stuff. Okay, but yeah, power-wise we're doing absolutely fine. Only 2 chests on this. Obviously we can add more, but these stack in 200s, you know, so this is almost 3 trains worth in those 2 chests. Well, 2.5. Okay, so let's look at our to-do list. So now that we have red circuits, the next step are chemical science packs, otherwise known as blue science. But for that, I'm also going to need sulfur. So we're going to need to set up a sulfur and sulfuric acid production facility. We'll move that on top. And then we can do chemical science packs. I know in Alexi's base he also has a dedicated area making engines, engine units, and electric engine units, which makes sense. Well, I'm going to determine whether it makes sense for me to have that in its own area, or whether we can get by with making the engine units where we consume them, because we're going to need those for the robot frames for later science packs. And I don't think we need them for any of the other rocket parts, although I could be mistaken there. Let's see. No, rocket control units don't take them, and neither does rocket fuel. So, yeah, I think we only need those for the engines for Blue Science, and then the engine units for the robot frames, which are another science recipe. That's for these. Low density structure, robot frames. They also need batteries. Okay. Well, I'll figure out where we do sulfur and engines before the next episode, and then if we need to construct some of that, we'll do that separately. And then we'll get to the Blue Science as soon as we can. Once we have Blue Science, I guess there's a decent amount of research that we can get done here using Blue plus military science that we haven't done yet. Gunships for one, which might be a better vehicle for us to use over the cargo plane that I have now. We'll see. And then I'm going to want to do the utility science pack next, so I can unlock logistics. And we'll do the production science pack last. Even though that unlocks Covarex and nuclear fuel for the trains, which I really want to get to. The utility science is going to give us personal Roboport Mark IIs. It will also give us the portable nuclear or fusion reactor, which will allow me to commandeer a lot more bots in my power armor, and that'll make things go a lot quicker. So I kind of want to prioritize that over the production stuff. Okay, well, thanks a lot for watching, everybody. We got red circuits. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.